So we talked about clarity, being able to answer who's your audience and what's the problem that you're solving. We talked about connecting with your audience, being able to wrap in the first 5 minutes. We talked about content, making sure that you serve your audience. And then we'll get to the final two, which we started to talk about, which is call to action and close. So you have to understand that there's two types of people in your audience. And I'm going to be stereotypical, and I'm going to call it the husband and the wife. So the husband, we're going to call him Joe Friday. Joe Friday is the guy sitting there in the audience with his arms crossed, looking skeptically at you like, what are you trying to sell me? How much is this going to cost? What do I got to do? A very effective presentation makes sure to answer all of those questions to fit the needs of Joe Friday. But if you end your presentation with Joe Friday, and I see so many people end with a call to action, you are making a big mistake because you're ignoring potentially 50% of your audience, the wife. The wife I call Julia Roberts. Julia Roberts, she doesn't care how much it costs. She just wants to feel good. Oh, I always listen to Jackie's podcast because she always makes me feel good. I tell everybody to listen to Jackie. And so an effective presentation makes sure to fulfill both of those needs. So I'm working with a woman. And by the way, whenever I cite any of my clients, I never give you the real names because I believe in discretion. All you have to do is talk to my business partner, Coach Jimmy. He's a former Broadway actor. He likes to name drop all the time. I'm not going to name drop, but we're working with a nutrition expert. Her name, I'm going to call her Dr. Kathy. And so Dr. Kathy has a 90-day nutritional program for women that costs $19.97. And she was ending with her call to action. And I implored her. I said, hey, you are ignoring half of your audience in Julia Roberts. And she's like, well, what do I do? I'm like, well, you need to end with an emotional close. What do you want your audience to do? And she says, I want them to buy my product. I'm like, yeah, I know you want them to buy your coaching program, but come on, let's do better than that. Went back and forth like that for 5 minutes. She was so dense. Finally, she let it slip. She said, I want the women in my audience to understand that they can't do it on their own. Oh, you need to hire an expert story. She's like, what's that? I'm like, I'll give you an example. I'll leave you all today with this. Many years ago, my wife and I had theater tickets. We were dressed to the nines, driving to the theater when we got a flat tire. My wife said, well, I'll call AAA and get a tow truck. I looked at her and said, we don't need to call AAA. I'm a man. I can fix a flat tire. So I got out of the car, opened up the trunk, and I got the spare tire, and then I got the pumper thing, and then I got the big jack thing, and I started trying to take nuts off of the tire. 27 minutes later, I had grease all over my hands. I had not fixed the flat tire. I looked up. My wife is standing beside the car with her arms crossed, shaking her head like I could have done so much better than this guy. Well, unbeknownst to me, she had called AAA 27 minutes earlier. And this tow truck shows up. And this 17-year-old punk kid hops out of the tow truck and proceeds to fix my flat tire in 3 minutes flat. You know, I think there are times in life when all of us think we can do it on our own. But if you want to save time, you want to save money, you want to save a whole lot of headache and embarrassment, you hire an expert. And so what I've just done there, Jackie, is I've ended my presentation with a metaphorical story, which now the audience is thinking, I've tried lots of diets before, but Dr. Kathy seems to know what she's talking about. Maybe I really need her to guide me on how to actually lose those unwanted pounds. That's the power of storytelling. That's the power of a story with intention.